July 2025, 9 p.m. northeastern United States. A civilian is driving home from work when an intense light catches their eye from the direction of their own backyard. They pull in, step out. Their spouse is already standing on the lawn, staring. 20 feet away, hovering just above the grass, a brilliant red sphere, roughly 1 meter in diameter, and inside it, clearly visible through a translucent exterior, a white plasma core the size of a basketball, radiating light from within. Not a reflection, not a lens artifact, a self-contained luminous structure suspended inside a glowing red shell in their own backyard. And above it, a second identical orb. Same size, same internal structure, hovering motionless. 2 witnesses, 2 orbs. No explanation. This account wasn't posted on social media. It wasn't leaked to a journalist. It was formally documented in FBI file FBI UAP PR004, with supporting witness interviews attached as FD 302-67 and FD 302-71. An FD 302 is the FBI's standard report of investigation form, the paperwork an agent fills out after conducting a formal interview. These documents were released in Tranche 3 of the Pursue program on June 12, 2026, hours ago. This is the United States government committing a first-hand civilian encounter to its official record. The witness descriptions are unusually specific. The lower orb displayed a translucent red metallic exterior, not opaque, not glowing uniformly, translucent, allowing the observer to perceive internal structure. At the center, a brilliant white plasma sun, approximately basketball-sized, emitting rays of light outward through the red shell. In decades of UAP literature, sightings typically describe lights, shapes, movements. What makes this file stand out is the level of internal structural detail. The witnesses aren't describing a light in the sky, they're describing an object with a visible internal architecture. The second orb was positioned directly above the first, approximately 10 feet of vertical separation. Witnesses observed both objects holding station for an extended period before they began to rise slowly and drift leftward at an estimated 5 miles per hour. There was no sound, no exhaust, no heat signature they could feel. The objects tracked together, maintaining their relative spacing until they were lost from view at an estimated 75 yards. Slow, deliberate, coordinated. This was not a meteor, not a flare, not a balloon. These objects demonstrated controlled, paired movement. Tranche 3 is the third release under Pursue, the Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters. Launched May 8, 2026 by the Trump administration via the Department of War portal at war.gov/UFO, Pursue is the most ambitious UAP declassification initiative in American history. Tranche 1 dropped 162 files on May 8th. Tranche 2 followed on May 22nd with additional military records and video. Tranche 3, released today, brings the total to approximately 294 files spanning CIA, FBI, and Department of Defense records dating back to 1949. Search filters, downloadable PDFs, video, images, and audio. All public, all free. Among the newly released files is DOW UAP D084, the Army's 1949 Flying Saucer Study, produced under the Armed Forces Special Weapons Program. This document, appearing publicly for the first time, catalogues 209 sightings between 1948 and 1950, concentrated around the Sandia National Laboratories Complex in New Mexico. The objects described: orbs, discs, fireballs. The behaviors recorded: controlled maneuvers, sudden directional changes, mid-air explosions. 76 years before the northeastern backyard encounter, military personnel were documenting the same morphology. Luminous spheres, anomalous behavior. No explanation then, no explanation now. The FBI assessment, recorded in FD 302-67, states explicitly that the witnesses are deemed credible. In FBI methodology, credibility isn't a casual observation. It reflects a trained agent's evaluation of demeanor, consistency, corroboration, and absence of motive to fabricate. The same document notes correspondence with similar reports from the same general northeastern area, suggesting this wasn't an isolated incident. The Bureau was aware of a pattern. They documented it, and they filed it under the designation that carries the most weight in this context: unresolved. The pattern extends beyond a single file. FBI UAP PR003 from October 2024, titled Orbs Over the Pond, documents a separate northeastern encounter with luminous spheres. FBI UAP D002 from 2022 covers a Colorado Springs incident with an associated intelligence community assessment in ICA UAP D001. 3 separate cases spanning 3 years across the northeastern United States, all involving orb-type phenomena. Geographic clustering is a recognized analytical flag in intelligence assessment. It suggests either a persistent stimulus or a persistent surveillance interest. Either way, it demands attention. The evolution across tranches tells its own story. Tranche 1 was dominated by military sensor data, the kind of instrumented recordings that appeal to technical analysts. Tranche 2 introduced human testimony from inside the intelligence community, including a senior intelligence officer's account of a helicopter encounter in the western United States. Orange orbs with white and yellow centers that flared, leaving the crew, quote, virtually speechless. Now Tranche 3 pivots to FBI-documented civilian encounters with an unprecedented level of physical description. Internal plasma structures, paired coordinated movement. The program isn't just releasing files, it's building a narrative, case by case, from sensors to spooks to civilians. The scope extends internationally. CIA UAP 017 documents a July 2008 incident in Harare, Zimbabwe, that triggered a high alert status due to what the file describes as perceived aggressive foreign posturing. The details remain partially redacted, but the classification and the response language are revealing. This wasn't treated as atmospheric noise. It was treated as a potential threat. The Harare file pushes the historical and geographic boundaries well beyond the 1949 Sandia reports and the northeastern US civilian cases. Whatever this phenomenon is, it isn't confined to one country or one decade. Every case in Tranche 3 carries the FBI notation, Unresolved UAP. That designation has specific meaning. It indicates that conventional explanations, drones, balloons, aircraft, atmospheric phenomena, satellites, laser effects, have been considered and eliminated. Unresolved does not mean unexplored. It means the investigation ran its course and the object defied identification. In government documentation, especially FBI documentation, that conclusion carries significant institutional weight. The Bureau doesn't use the word lightly. Since Pursue launched on May 8, 2026, the war.gov/UFO portal has logged 1.7 billion hits. 1.7 billion. That's not a niche audience. That's a global population actively seeking access to these records. The infrastructure was built for transparency. Filters by agency, date, media type. The public isn't just being told about these files. They're being given the tools to read them firsthand. The demand was always there. Now there's a supply. Step back and consider what these files collectively represent. In 1949, military personnel at Sandia documented luminous spheres performing controlled maneuvers. In 2022, 2024, and 2025, civilian witnesses in the northeastern United States described luminous red spheres with internal plasma-like cores. CIA records from Harare in 2008 triggered high alert protocols. The morphology is consistent. The behavior is consistent. The inability to explain them is consistent. 76 years of documented observations from military bases, civilian backyards, and foreign capitals, all pointing to the same unresolved question. The file numbers keep accumulating. DOW UAP D084, FBI UAP PR004, CIA UAP 017, FD 30267. Each one a receipt, each one stamped unresolved. 76 years of luminous spheres in the official record, and not one conventional explanation has held. Enrico Fermi asked the question in 1950, the same year the Sandia sightings were being catalogued. Where is everybody? Maybe, after 76 years of plasma sun orbs in government files, the better question is, where aren't they? This is Fermi Files. The documents are public. Read them yourself.